What's up, Tweeners? Welcome back to another Tweener Head Tennis video today here on the channel. And today we have NCAA individual Final Four participant, All-American, all the way from Arizona State, Murphy Cassone. He was also all Pac-12 team. He also won Pac-12 Rookie of the Year when he came to college, and he's an All-American. Now, we are very glad to have him and finally have him on the channel. But before you guys enjoyed this interview, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and over 90% of you that are watching this video right now aren't even subscribed. What are you guys doing? Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure to go show Murphy some love down in the comments. And now enjoy our interview with All-American player Murphy Cassone from Arizona State. All right, Murphy, thank you so much for joining us. Today we have a very special guest. Murphy, all the way from Arizona State, a college standout, made the semifinals of the NCAA singles individual tournament, has beaten a lot of good players in college, and has a lot of promise coming out as the #1 prospect out of Kansas in his junior career, being top 200 in the world as a junior. I can go on and on and on about this guy, but Murphy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, no worries, anytime.
So let's start with choosing Arizona State. It seems that you found your comfort level so quickly back in Arizona. Can you describe why you chose Arizona State?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Matt Hill was our head coach, was the biggest draw here. He was like second day of recruiting. I think he like flew out and saw me in Florida all the way. He came all the way from Arizona, and like that practice day was like terrible. And but he still like kept in contact with me, and then like he came out to some matches. Those matches were also really bad. Like every time he would come out and see me, it would just be like terrible. So and he just stuck with me. So I think that like played a big piece in me, whereas like other coaches would like kind of like not call me for a little bit or something like that. Whereas like Matt was like, it's part of the game. Like, you know, like we're trying to like play for the pros when you're like 2 years into college, you're out of college, not the junior grade ones, you know? And then I didn't want to go anywhere in the cold. I was looking at some of the schools up north and all that, but I just didn't want to put on like 15 coats to go practice in the winter.
Fair.
So I was like,
That's
and then
fair.
also there was some COVID with like scholarship money and stuff that kind of like X'd out a few places for me just like by itself. So helped narrow it down. But I think Matt was the biggest draw to come here.
And and for you too, like his influence, what is there something that you took away from him when he recruited you that stuck with you, or a phrase or something that he did for you?
He was just always positive, and I just felt he really believed in me and like thought I could do what I did my freshman year when that first fall was really bad, and he's still like, I just kind of had that feeling he always just believed in me and like thought I could do it. So and that just drew me in a little bit, and which he was right, because I mean I just, from when I got to school I just started taking off. So yeah.
It seems not just taking off, but skyrocketing. Not to
Yeah.
toot your own horn here, but we're going to do it anyways because we want to have you back on the channel. So Pac-12 all-conference team, Pac-12 Rookie of the Year, and you were elected to the collegiate summer team midway through 2022.
Yeah.
And you beat the #1 player in the country at the time, which was August, who was also on this channel. So what do you contribute to that success in your first year, or immediately finding success?
I would say coming to Arizona State, I knew I was going to play 1 or 2 just off my level in high school. And I wanted that because I always played better versus the better players, but I never did well in the juniors. So I never got that like opportunity as much. So like I knew that would help a lot, just playing those good guys day in, day out, and like really get my like average level higher. So leading up to that August, the match was Holmgren. I'd lost a couple close ones and like was kind of struggling, but like I started off really well that year for me. And I thought Matt was going to put me at 2 for that match.
Hmm.
But he kept me at one. Again, I had lost 3 matches before that, and he still just like let me play one. And that was one of those opportunities, and I was just really pumped for it.
In
Yeah, it was one of my game-changing wins, I'd say.
100%, I think that would change someone's confidence level and persona
Mhm.
within 12 hours. And you mentioned something there too. You feel like you play better against better players, or your better level comes out when you start playing against those. A lot of people, I feel like it's a common phrase to say, when you play better players, you'll always rise to the occasion to play better. But have you ever found that when you start playing to someone else's level, you still have to dig out a win, or you have to find that level again?
Like someone else's level that's higher or
Or
lower?
lower? I would say
Lower.
lower, kind of the flip flop of that, where you would play against someone that may not be at your level, but is somehow beating you in a match.
Yeah. I'd say the 2022 year, I did a really good job of that. And
Hmm.
I just, you don't, because you can't play the same speed against certain people. So
Hmm.
I slowed it down and just kind of like waited for my chances to play that like higher level speed instead of
Hmm.
trying to play that the whole match where it puts me at a
Okay.
high risk area.
Okay.
I'd say this year I've done a little not as good of a job as it, which is
Hmm.
one of the pieces why I had a little some hiccups throughout the year, but
Hmm.
so far. But I'd say yeah, I just tried to like not dumb it down, but like not overplay almost. So I
Okay.
think that's the bigger things that can happen. You can overplay, and then you start wondering like, how am I losing to this person? How is like this happening? When in reality, like the levels are very close. Um, and sometimes it's meant that's more mental than anything, I would say, and like strategic. So yeah,
Would you say that that mental strength that you have, would you say that's one of your strengths in your game?
I would say so. Yeah, like I'm big on film. I watch a lot of film on a lot of guys, and
Hmm.
I'd say when I'm playing my best is when I'm doing that well, like watching tennis and stuff and understanding the game better. Because
Hmm.
that's because everybody at a certain like when you get to like 500 ATP and up, like everybody can hit the ball well
Hmm.
from the baseline and everything. It's just what to do when and all that.
And how long have you always watched film, or has that become a recent tendency that you've developed when you went to Arizona State, or when you started competing at the higher levels in juniors?
Very recent. I used to hate watching tennis. I didn't want anything to do with tennis when I was not playing.
Oh, really?
Uh, yeah, like I used to not like enjoy tennis, even playing it too much until I got to Arizona State, I'd say.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, I just started. I wouldn't watch anybody like any of the ATP stuff when I was my freshman year because it was like I'm not going to play these guys yet. So like,
Hmm.
why am I watching it? So I watched like countless hours of Challenger film. I'd
Okay.
go to the course like every day, like 7 a.m. and just do school and flip on the Challenger TV and just watch.
Hmm.
A lot of Greek Sport and Holger when they were winning all their tournaments
Yeah.
and just understanding like what they did well at that level. And I think that brought me a lot of success because they made it's a lot simpler than you think in your head when you watch it. I think
And do you
so.
and do you take notes while you watch, or do you just watch and kind of remember certain cues when you watch this
Uh,
type of film?
I watch and remember certain cues. If I know I'm going to play somebody, I could watch some film on them and I'll like write some notes down or something.
Mm.
But yeah, usually I don't get too deep into the notes because I like, kind of like to play my game usually and then make
Hmm.
a little adjustments. So
Did you watch film when you played Arthur Ferry?
no, I did not actually.
Okay.
Um, that was one of the few matches. I think I might have watched one of them. My like we played my freshman year,
Hmm.
but yeah, I didn't. Probably should have, but yeah, I didn't. But I had a good idea of how he played. So
Okay.
yeah,
Just based on memory.
yeah, yeah, and
Okay.
then just seeing him, some of the juniors, a decent bit.
Hmm.
He takes the ball early, very good on both wings. So good returner. But yeah, that's one of those ones. I just make adjustments during.
Okay.
So.
And that kind of leads us up until your this past year,
Mhm.
your run at the NCAA individuals. What
Yeah.
how would you describe that tournament in one word?
Um, I don't know. There's a lot of words for that one because we were honestly, I was just happy to get because our conference this year was a little weaker, just like
Mhm,
the guys that played. So I was just hoping to play a couple of good guys and like have some good matches.
mhm.
Um, but I mean, I'd put it. I mean, to me, I'd say biggest word is probably a little disappointing, like losing in the semis to
Really?
Tyler. Yeah, because I feel like everything was. It was one of those weeks where it was like a lot of things were going wrong,
Mhm,
and that I just couldn't control, and it just added up towards that last day. But
mhm.
overall, I mean, it was a really good run overall. But yeah, I mean, the goal is to win that tournament and get access to New York. So
Oh wow. So your goal was going into it, you just wanted to win the whole thing. That was your goal. You weren't even setting, I'm gonna try to make this round, I'm gonna try to make this round. It was straight up, I'm gonna try to win this thing.
that was the main goal I had in mind the
Hmm.
whole year. But
Hmm.
going to the tournament, I kind of changed that off a little bit, and I just kind of
Okay.
want to one match at a time,
Okay.
not look at the end of the road when I
Hmm.
have like Inaki Montez first round or
Yeah.
Cannon indoor. So we're
Hmm.
very easy to go either way.
Hmm.
But yeah, the last 2 years that's been my biggest goal, I'd say, for that
Hmm.
tournament.
And
So
so for you, I'm gonna put you on the spot here. Besides score line, if we took the score lines out, who do you think and besides your semifinal loss, who do you think your toughest opponent was that entire week that you played?
um I would definitely say Arthur or Cannon for
Okay.
sure.
What
Um
why for both of them?
Cannon, the level of the match what that we sustained, like the first set was I kind of took it from him, but those next two sets were very high level
Hmm.
on both ends for two sets. Like not one of us took a game off or anything.
Hmm.
Um, I was really struggling in the third set, and yeah, it was just like the consistency of level throughout that whole match was pretty was impressive. Honestly, I was surprised by it on both sides.
Okay.
So, and
And
then
what
Arthur,
mhm.
sorry,
No, go ahead. For Arthur, you said
yeah, Arthur. It's I played him. That was my third time playing him. Game style wise, he's very tough to play.
mhm,
Takes it early and everything. Like that's more of a match where I have to be smart. I was outside, so it was a little where I've been. My other matches were indoors, so it was a little
mhm,
more hot that day. And then it was the mental aspect of it. Getting you're later into the tournament. Um, yeah, it's quarters, very tough match. Arthur's playing really well right now too, so I think it was
mhm,
more of a mental challenge rather than level.
mhm,
And both sets were very tight with Arthur as well. Like not many openings on both ends, I'd say.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, that was more of a mental challenge, just staying focused on the match, like right in front of me. Whereas
mhm,
like Spaziri's playing next to me, Ethan's playing next to me,
mhm.
um, and it's like you want them to do well also, and like you're kind of like paying attention because like who am I going to play tomorrow? But you
Yeah.
also have to stay focused on your match. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Do you find that it's hard to stray away or stay focused in those types of scenarios?
not usually. Um,
Okay.
Unless I'm playing like someone I'm friends with the next round. I think
Mhm.
I like watch it a little more because I'm like, oh, I have to play him.
Yeah.
Or yeah, other than that, not a ton because I'm used to it. At my school, like when I at ASU, I kind of just zone in on my court.
Mhm.
And I have only one guy next to me, so it'll be us working together a little bit. I don't have multiple,
Mhm.
and there's you just want to help the other guy. So
Mhm.
yeah.
So for you too, and you've dipped your toe into the pro circuit. You've played some pro tournaments this past couple weeks. For you, how would you say that college aspect helps your game on the pro tour?
I'd definitely say the point to point, staying focused since there's the deuce points in college where if you take a couple points off on your service game, you're down 15-40, love 40, you're kind of in a tough spot.
Hmm.
Whereas the pros, you have the deuces, which gives you a little cushion.
Hmm.
Um, so I would say that was one of the bigger aspects. Staying more point to point. I remember last summer I went into it, and towards the middle of the summer I started to lose that a little bit. And I was
Hmm.
playing Sam Riffis at one of the tournaments. I
Hmm.
was like, I need to focus point like every point like I'm playing a dual match. Like I was just telling myself I need to play like I'm playing a dual match, and
Hmm.
that helped out a lot.
Okay.
Staying every point, and then you get your shot tolerance. I would say goes up a little bit in
Okay.
college. You get 3 balls a set. The balls will die, and the points can get extended more easily than the
Hmm.
pros. So I'd say those two are the biggest things for me, at least.
It's funny that you say that because I don't think I've ever heard someone talk about
Mhm.
how the balls would affect their their game or how they would play someone based
Mhm.
on which ones you're playing with or where you are, especially in that scenario.
Mhm.
Do you notice small things like that a lot?
A little bit. Balls and tension. Some.
Hmm.
Uh, like at the Phoenix Challenger that they gave me a wild card into. They're using the head ATP balls, which die a lot quicker. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, my match was a lot slower than it should have been, I thought, and we
Hmm.
are playing little. The points were more extended, more RPMs on the ball, whereas the challengers, the Wilson U.S. Opens, they pop more, so
Yeah.
it's some more pop on them. So it's like more free points with the serve,
Hmm.
go bigger, get forward easier, and all that.
Okay.
So,
So what do you string your rackets at right now? What tension?
49 about.
Okay. And are you high altitude? I forget if Arizona's high
Yeah.
altitude.
Yeah, so Arizona will come back in the spring and it'll be around like 65, 70 degrees.
Hmm.
I'll drop my tension a little bit,
Okay.
and then as the year goes on, I'll tighten it back to 40 around 49. That way
Wow.
yeah,
So what's the lowest you string it at?
45, 44, 45. That's if it's really cold out and it's just
Wow.
not slinging off the racket. Yeah.
Is that normal for you guys? Are people surprised by how low you string your tension at?
I'm not sure, honestly. I know some guys are trying to like the guys I was around this summer, they were trying to drop their tension in the racket.
Hmm.
I know Ethan Quinn, one of my buddies, he messes around with the tension depending on where he is also.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but I think from what I've seen, like around 50 is usually is the norm, I think at least from what I've
Is it?
seen.
And
Yeah.
and you get guys like Manarino who strings it at somehow 22 pounds, and you get someone
Yeah.
like that. That I will never understand. And I don't think maybe you know more than I do, but when you hear that, I
Mhm.
just feel like I'm never going to be able to play with a racket like that.
Yeah, yeah, it's just his game style. He finesses the ball, works it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's good on his body. I think his arm also. He has
Hmm.
arm issues.
Okay.
I From what I've heard, I'm not 100% sure again. So that helps with the arm a little bit because the tighter your strings are, the harder it'll be on the elbow and everything.
It
So
it seems
yeah.
like you know a lot about these small or big technically speaking of string pattern, string tension, balls. It seems like you're very involved in that.
Yeah, I have a good idea, but I try not to get too down the rabbit hole with it because
Okay.
yeah, because when you're playing, if your strings feel off, like you could just just go downhill mentally and be like, it's my strings, blah blah blah.
Okay.
But you got to make adjustments. But I try to keep like what I can control. I try to control it to the best I can though.
Okay.
So
So would you say you're a routine guy during a match day?
usually yes, I'm trying to get like a little bit out of that just so it's like if something does go wrong or messes up, it's not bad, but
Okay.
very routine in practices and just day to day life, I'd say.
Okay. So if you were to describe your how would you expect your practice to go versus how would you expect your match day routine to go?
Um, just like scheduling throughout the day, or
Yeah, scheduling throughout the day. So kind of getting into that idea of everything is routine and you're trying to make sure that it's more go with the flow. How would you
yeah.
want, or at least before you're trying to get into this non-routine, go with the flow mentality, how would you describe your day for practice? Or how would you go about that?
Yeah, I mean, Matt Hill at ASU, he has a thing where it's like wake up 3 hours before you're supposed to practice.
Hmm.
at least. So if we practice at like 9 or 10, you wake up at like 6 or 7
Okay.
to get the body going.
Okay.
I try to do that, but if it gets too early, like an 8 a.m. practice, I'll do like 6 a.m. Try to
Okay.
do it then. But
Does he know that, or are you admitting that now on this channel?
he knows that, and he's good with
Okay.
that too. We have an 8
Okay.
a.m. practice. Not gonna unless it's a match day. We'll be up at 5, but
Okay.
practice,
Wow.
yeah, not
Okay.
too
Okay.
um. But yeah, I'll get up. I'll drink some water, stretch a little bit, and then go to the courts I'll go to the courts an hour before to do all my stretches and like roll out, make sure the body feels good because in the mornings you're a little more stiff.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I mean practice 2 hours to however long, and then yeah, after that it's just kind of depends on the day, how the body's feeling.
Okay.
But ideally, like get to the courts an hour before is
Okay.
my usual routine, and then I'll stretch and warm up and do some mobility, and then yeah,
Okay. And that's for match day as well, or match day would be
yeah.
different?
Match day is the same. I'll try to get there an hour before, go to the gym, and like I have a set of stretches I do, so I
Mm-hmm.
feel like pretty loose and good
Mm-hmm.
before I play. So that's pretty much the one thing I try to really do every time before I practice or play.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, I don't have many routines like food wise or like food. I'll keep it simple, just eggs, toast, and some protein. But other than that, yeah, it's just the stretches and the warm up and to get the mind just like locked in for that day.
Okay. I like that. And for you, Murphy, I really do appreciate you joining us today. And to kind of start wrapping up your time here, what would be, or how would you describe your game to someone that has not seen you play before?
Yeah, I've always struggled with that one. I'm not
Really?
yeah, I mean I'm a bit I'd just say a baseliner.
Okay.
Solid on both wings, good serve, good return.
Hmm.
I just solid all around. And then yeah, I mean I can just like my goal is to just develop the game into where I can pick off a few points here and there, like serving and volleying,
Okay.
chipping, and just like random stuff that can just acquire me points throughout the match.
Hmm.
Because it's pretty physical if you just sit on the baseline and try and wear someone down every day, every match. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
And for you in the next year or two, what would be your goal at Arizona State for you as a student athlete?
Um, win NCAAs is
That's the main
biggest
one.
one. Yeah, that's the one. I want to be top 5 in college this year, top
Okay.
10, just the challenger wild cards that they added, the
Okay.
accelerator.
Okay.
But those two are my main ones. As a team, I want to go win our conference as a team. That's right up there with those two for sure.
Okay.
I think that'd be really cool to do with the group of guys we have. And then yeah, I mean those three are probably it.
Okay. That's perfect. Murphy, thank you so much for joining us today. I really do appreciate it. It was a lot of fun talking to you about your journey and what you've been going through at Arizona State. If you guys want to follow Murphy, make sure to follow him on Instagram. Do you have Twitter as well?
No, I do not. Yeah,
Okay.
not
So
yet.
sorry, not yet, but we'll have him on. It's not even Twitter anymore. It's X. So if you want to follow him on his social medias, make sure to check the links down in the description below. And thank you again. I really do appreciate it. Take care, guys.
Appreciate it.